Good evening, classmates. This is my report on the story To Get to the Other Side by Jonathan Manuel. A man's earphones whispered to him the song you only recall when it's dark. But even at maximum volume, that mere whisper was no match for the raindrops that collided angrily against the pavement. Under the bus stop, he stared at the lamppost across the street. This lamppost, named Jonas, could see a man that looked ambiguously young. But his sunken eyes looked like it's someone who accepted death in a quicksand. The man didn't look alive at all, in fact. Everything around him looks more living than this husk of a man. His hair looks like a bird's nest. His unzipped blue sweater was shivering. His black, straight-cut pants look like it's not friendly for men to be wearing. At least I'm not alone in being alone, the man thought. That lamppost and I are no different. Jonas the lamppost could hear the man's thoughts, and it sneered at him as a pretty girl in a white umbrella stood beside it. "Fuck off," Jonas the lamppost said. "At least I have this girl beside me." From what Jonas the lamppost could see, the girl was beautiful. She was so beautiful that Jonas the lamppost couldn't even articulate her features. That or I'm too lazy to come up with descriptions. A white bus named Michael walked by, blocked the man's view, then offered its hand and knelt before the girl. She took the hands of the bus along with everything else worth describing, leaving Jonas and the man staring after the wet and shiny pedestrian lane. The angry droplets seemed to spawn needles as it spiked up upon impact, never allowing reflections to be seen. "No one really reflects anymore anyway," said the sky, named RJ, looking down on the gloom that covered the whole city. The man acknowledged the small rust buildup on his umbrella's pole. The umbrella's name is Sheila, by the way. Something that could potentially stain his hoodie. Somehow, that rust didn't matter anymore. Something else did, but he couldn't admit it to himself. A few moving shoes walked across his vision as he lowered Sheila the umbrella to hide his eyes. Everyone in the bus stop had negative feelings at the moment, but he had a different reason. Everyone else didn't like being stranded in the heavy rain. The man didn't like being stranded in this one problem: not being good enough for some girl and not knowing why. Wasn't the girl beside me this particular girl you're being emotional about? Jonas thought. He started to cross the street. I meant the man, not Jonas. Imagining what would have happened if things worked out. Her voice,
Sup, dog?
her laugh, his
Knock,
jokes,
knock, baby.
a deafening screech of revel, screams of surprise, a blackout. The boy already knew at that moment that he wasn't walking anymore. He couldn't feel anything, as if he wasn't numb enough already. The constant blur was keeping his eyes from fully opening. Incomprehensible mumbles came from what he could make of as a wall of different colors looming around him. The colors were talking about him for sure, and from colors, they slowly turned into a monochrome of noise. With difficulty, he rolled his eyes to his right and saw his arm stretched out to what he can make of as his umbrella, Sheila.
Oh fuck, is he dead?
Sheila the umbrella said. The man tried to stand up, but he couldn't. He didn't have a reason to anyway. Uh, so, so why did the man cross the road? Jonas asked. The boy's consciousness looked at RJ and said, to get to the other side.